So we've got a quorum. I think we had sort of informally agreed that our goal was to be done by 7 tonight and kind of cut to the chase. So if everyone's okay with it, I'm going to call the meeting to order. We obviously want Sarah to join us, but I'd like to maybe call the meeting to order and get us moving, just in the interest of time. So officially calling the meeting April 6, 2022 of the School Building Bylaw Review Committee meeting to order. See Sarah's coming. I'll read the little preamble where she's logging in. So pursuant to Governor Baker's March 12, 2020 order suspending certain provisions of the open meeting laws and Governor's March 15, 2020 order imposing strict limitations on the number of people that may gather in one place, this meeting of the Medfield School Building Bylaw Review Committee is being conducted via remote participation. No in-person attendance of members of the public will be permitted, but every effort will be made to ensure that the public can adequately access the proceedings as provided for in the order. A reminder that persons who would like to listen to or view this meeting while in progress may do so by following the instructions on the agenda and meeting notice. All votes subject to remote participation will be taken as a roll call vote, and the meeting is being recorded. This order has been extended through July of 2022. And now I think we each need to just confirm that we are participating remotely and identify ourselves. So, Carolyn?
I'm Carolyn Casey, participating remotely.
Russ?
Russ Halsey, participating remotely.
Cynthia?
Leah Green, participating remotely.
Tom?
Tom Marie, participating remotely.
Sarah?
Sarah Lemke, participating remotely.
Thank you. One thing just to tee it up quickly, and then we'll turn it loose where people want to go. As I said, Sarah, before you joined, I think we've all sort of agreed that the hope tonight is to keep this to 7 o'clock. And if possible, maybe hold a vote to see where we are, to see if we're actually there. And there might be some other things people want to discuss. If it's all right, I'm just going to start with the review from Mark Sorrell, which we shared. So I talked with Mark. I sent him what we have prepared. Mark looked at it. There was someone else in the legal department at Town Hall that's dealt with the state school bidding committee quite a bit, and they looked at it as well. And the questions I had for Mark were basically: does it work? Are we causing any problems? Does it weave into the existing laws such that it'll function? Are our statutory sites right? And then his response, you saw, and actually the response was, after I got off the phone with him, I typed up my understanding of what we talked about and sent it to Brittany and to Mark and said, Mark, please let us know if this is correct or I'm missing anything. If accurate, Brittany will post it. So the words were mine, but that was Mark's comment. One more thing, and then I'll be quiet. He was incredibly impressed with the work Sarah had done, and I think we should all be grateful for. It's unbelievable what she's been able to do to meld this together on quick time. So thank you, Sarah.
I appreciate that. That's nice. Thank you. Happy to help.
Yes, Sarah.
I agree.
He did have one not substantive, but one change to that, what we were calling, he was calling the savings clause, where we say if we have to appoint someone to get the funding. And so I was just looking for that.
Yeah, I've got the site for it. If anyone has the email, I put the site in there. And again, that point was just that, well, it's not required in their experience. The state would want that to be. So where we specifically exclude out and select people.
Oh, here we go. So it's right here, such additional members.
Yeah.
So let me pull up your email too. I just grabbed more than I meant to, but okay, so to be 200. Sorry, where did he want to put it?
No, you got the right words. Maybe extra.
4.
Yeah, I just need to figure out exactly where.
1 seat 4, I thought.
Such additional member shall be appointed if and to the extent the same shall be appointed by the select board.
And
I think
because
I'll go right here.
but right, and because we have the sentence excluding select people, we could add here that this would be the instance when a select board member could serve to fulfill this requirement.
That's
So we're
right.
not contradicting, each other in the two places.
Let me just go back and grab the Or I think it
I
was.
can give it to you,
including-
Sarah. I wrote it, including without limitation, a member of the select board, if required.
To obtain such funding.
And I'm told that it still is select men, but in March of next year, it becomes a select board. So I guess we can use that term here.
I think that's right? Such additional members to be appointed by the select board, including without limitation, a member of the select board, if and to the extent the same become required in order to obtain funding under chapter 70B.
Yes.
Okay, and then he confirmed the statutory references, so I turned those off of highlighting.
Yeah.
I should do a quick check for anything in brackets. So, all right, no, we're good. Okay, I think Mark's changes are incorporated.
So do we want to move to a motion to vote on this, or do people have points they'd like to discuss before doing so?
I had a couple of small ones.
Go ahead, Bruce.
So in the beginning, the very first paragraph, there should be a permanent planning building committee in conjunction with paragraph G. So in paragraph G, we say, wait a second, all other projects other than school project there. My thought is that we would want to put it in that very first paragraph as well, just to be consistent.
So
I
being
know it
both,
might be considered redundant, but I think it would be more consistent. So in large, all buildings owned by the town or constructed. So at the end of that sentence,
By the town, other
When-
than-
other
Yeah.
than any school project as hereinafter defined.
Belt and suspenders never hurts.
Yeah, I just hate to have conflicting language.
I wonder if we should also say up here, something other than any school project is hereinafter defined, which shall be subject to the requirements of O through R.
I think that's good.
Although actually, some of the other ones apply too, like J. So maybe not after all. Technically, everywhere that we added the,
Yep,
or
yep.
I think it's fine.
I think it's pretty clear.
and I think it's good having it right in the first opening paragraph too, because,
Yeah, it's a good addition, Russ.
And my next one is in paragraph L. And just in order of things happening in my mind. So L says, any user department can go to the board, select board, and ask. And then if the select board should think want to go forward, it says, it shall refer the application to the committee or the school building committee. But it doesn't exist at that point. It doesn't get, it doesn't get organized until F. And the thought of this was, well, it's saying it shall refer it to the committee, but it doesn't exist yet. And yet the rest of the paragraph L originally said the Board of Selectmen could refer it to the committee, and the committee had already been formed in the beginning part of this article.
I had a similar thought, Russ, because we had, I went all through the comments that we've gotten over the last few weeks, just checking them all again. And there was, several about how do you start the process? And so and I guess Mark has indicated that the school committee actually has the right to start the process, but we've written it that they think they might need a building and they go to the select board and tell the select board, and then they start the process. And then you're right, then the committee would be appointed.
think though they could refer it to the committee they create with the referral. So in the case of the PBC, it already exists, but in the case of the school building committee, they refer it to the committee that then is convened by them appointing. I mean, we took out all the parts about how you convene the committee in the last draft on Mark's suggestion.
Right. Shall refer the application to the committee. Or could you say, or in the case of a school project, commence the appointment of a school building committee?
Yes,
Yeah, my
yes,
sug-
that's what I think needs to happen, and then refer to the section where that starts.
So my thought was to say, it shall refer the application to the committee or the SBC as organized, or whatever that word is, as organized below in section P.
Or can I say, lawyer noodling, shall initiate the formation of, because they don't really form it.
Yeah,
Right,
because we have three
Yeah,
people,
initiate.
so, yeah.
yep,
And that would be in the middle of L there, right? It shall refer the application to the committee or the SBC as shall be formed in section P. But you have better language.
I think the initiation of the formation of the committee is the referral.
Right.
Okay.
You don't need to repeat the referral
In the case of a
the
school
school.
project, shall initiate. Oh, right.
Yeah.
It doesn't refer it to the committee. In the alternative, it shall initiate the formation. Yeah, I like that.
I'm going to make a change that I philosophically disagree with, but now that this is in the existing 10-20, we should probably be consistent with calling everything, because in one part we have, in A, we have Board of Selectmen, and P, we have Select Board. We should probably just call it all Board of Selectmen.
For now, yeah.
Because if we use select board, because it hasn't started yet, then it's
not defined.
not defined.
Right.
And also, we would be actually suggesting an amendment to the original article, and we're not looking to do that. You'd
Right.
have to declare to the town meeting that these other changes were also made in wording,
Right.
and we don't want to go that far yet.
Sarah, can I just interrupt really quickly? While you're just on that B, I do want to point out, and Mark and I discussed this as well. The end of that paragraph says no Board of Selectmen shall be appointed, and that does now conflict with your savings
Okay.
clause. So
That's
it's up
what
to
I
you guys
said.
what you want to do.
Right.
Except as provided in,
Right,
referring to this later paragraph.
yes.
Good. Thank you, Brittany. Really good point.
Thank you. Yeah.
Yeah, I had forgotten that one.
Okay. I think I added except as provided in paragraph D below.
Is it D or C?
It's C1.
Oh.
Yeah. Thank you. C Romanet 4. Oop.
Right.
Yep. Thank you, Brittany. All right, Russ, I think
C
we're going
doesn't have,
to,
C doesn't have parentheses around it.
usually you do that just
Well, but
to,
it's not in there as such.
so just do.
You know what
C.
you could say?
Yeah, C dot,
It looks weird like that to me.
but that's the way you have it in your text.
I think it's clear what it's referring to.
Yeah,
I don't know if we need to.
Keep
That'll
keep
cement
talking.
it.
I'll think about whether I'm going to fix it.
Do you have anything else, Russ, that you,
So then there was the mark thing in both those places. In P1, 3. in the two above ones, they talk about appointments will be current school committee, current warrant committee, and then it says a planning board member. My suggestion is to say a current planning board member to be consistent.
Sure.
No, I don't object.
She's fast. She's got it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's also-
Yeah, I just looked up and it was already there and I said, oh, is it already there? Yeah, and then you put in marks with the except as, and then the last paragraph, talking about how many times they go before the school, the select board. It says a minimum of once every 6 months. And I was taking into consideration, and we'll probably want to address it in full, but in Christine's recent email, she had suggested that it might be more than once, maybe, quarterly or every 3 months. What did she say? Quarterly updates is what she was suggesting for the
Yeah, that-
first half of the project. And I'm just suggesting maybe we want to think about that at this juncture.
My 2 cents is that might be too burdensome. I wonder if we say that they do it every 6 months or as requested by the Board of Selectmen. And look, they're elected officials. If somebody thinks they need to have more hearings, they can harass their selectmen.
And
I'm not
I,
sure. Yeah. Sorry.
I agree with you if we put that in there so people can request it. And I also, I had that same comment, Russ, and also about the idea that there should be public hearings prior to site selections at that
Selection.
board. So I was looking at Q, and I thought after the period, their estimated cost range, we could add a sentence. If a school project includes a new site or significant changes to an existing location, the SPC will hold additional public hearings, parentheses around the S, prior to voting on the proposed site, parentheses S.
2 cents against it. I'm not sure that's such a great idea. I mean, I know this was the hot button issue, or I understand this might have been the hot button issue last time around, but I mean, this committee has to be able to function, right? If we set up too many hearings for every little piece, I just think it's a mistake. I think it makes it too cumbersome in response to sort of a one-off event before.
I agree with you in part because I know you read bylaws and they get like in the weeds sometimes, and then you don't realize it's history of something that went wrong that probably started it. And so I was thinking about this a lot. So I agree, I don't want to overdo it, but in this case, I thought common sense would say you'd have a public hearing before you vote on the site, but it didn't happen, and it seems to be very divisive. And I thought if we put, a public hearing before you vote on the site, maybe people will, just feel more comfortable and confident that that's the process.
Could I offer a compromise? Could we say one public hearing on the site? I'm just
Yes.
worried about people dragging that out. There'll be one, and then
Yeah, it could be just one. I
I just wouldn't want to say hearings with a parenthetical, because there might be, some might push for 3 and 4 if they don't like the results, so.
So
Sorry,
one,
It's not up to the public to decide if they want to have more than one meeting. It would be up to the committee to decide how many they want.
or I guess the select board, we just gave them right to call for like an update, and that could be a conversation. I think we need another public hearing if it doesn't feel like the town is coming together.
Yeah, and the select board can always call them, right? They can always call more hearings, so.
Okay.
So maybe we have one
Sorry, I
required
had
for
a-
site selection.
A coughing fit, so I had to get some water. But what did we decide? Did we want to make a change to Q?
I think we're gonna say that there would be one public hearing prior to the site selection being finalized.
You can put it after the period, Sarah. If a special project includes a new site or significant changes to an existing location, the SPC will hold an additional public hearing prior to voting on the proposed site or sites.
Yeah, and the reason I'm in support of that is that particular item, to me, was a real linchpin
It was.
on that whole, on the whole project, and it's early on.
Sarah, can I jump in for a second? Because we've got 8 minutes left in our clock. I think it was not at least one, but it's one. And then the selectmen in R can call more if they need it.
Yes.
Well, if you say one, does that preclude them from having another one if they feel like it? Right? They
No,
could, right?
no, they can do whatever they want. This is just the minimum.
That's right.
It's then maybe we should say shall hold one at a minimum.
Yeah,
No, because that implies that they're going to hold more. I mean, I think what we're trying to say is they should have at least one dedicated site, and if there's more, the selectmen can call it, but they're never going to be able to function if they're being pressed to have site hearings over and over and over again.
is it possible that by saying shall have one hearing, is there any preclusion for having another if you say it that way?
No,
That's my concern, is it kind of implies that it's one and done. You know, what if there was
I
a
think-
site?
I think we
selection
could
that
resolve this. I think we could resolve this by saying they shall hold periodic public hearings, blah, 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 including without limitation, one public hearing on the desired site. Because they're gonna have to have the periodic anyways.
Right.
So the periodic could cover site and could cover other stuff.
yeah, I mean, there's nothing in here barring them from holding more than one. It's just making clear they're not required to hold more than one.
But do we want to make it a requirement that they do hold one if it's a site selection issue?
I think that's
Right.
what she's got though, right?
I think she took it out.
No,
Yeah.
I think she's got it.
Yeah, I'll
Okay.
wait.
Okay.
Okay, so let's see, including beginning. Shall hold public hearings, feedback, including the schedule, scope, estimate, cost, including without limitation, one public hearing in any case where the school project.
Sarah, can I add some wording in this? I think we say one public hearing in any case where the school project is located on a new site. I think what we need to say is that hearing is focused on the site location. I think it's implied, but it's not. I don't know how you say it, but one hearing focused on site selection.
Yeah, that makes it very clear that,
Yeah.
One public hearing relative to site selection in any case where the school project on your site.
One
prior to
public,
final-
yeah, I'd say focused on. I don't know what relative to means. Or is to be located, is located or is to be located? Is or is to be?
including-
I think if it's a new site, it has to be located. It can't be
You're right. I
located.
take-
'Cause then it
yep.
wouldn't-
You're
I
right.
think,
Sorry.
in the end of the second line, the word including, maybe put the word and including without limitation.
I don't think I'd say it that way. I think it's you do
No.
this and it's
Well,
included
you already
without
have
limitation. It's hearing.
you already have including earlier on that line. Now you've got two includings.
Change it to covering, addressing.
about the
Oh,
site.
oh,
Addressing.
oh,
Yeah.
oh,
Hey,
okay.
Can I make a
Addressing the
request?
school-
If we think we're gonna get this done tonight, if people have other comments, can we try and focus on substance? I think if we semantic this to death.
I
Oh,
had
no, I
one,
disagree with that. We're writing an article, a warrant article here, which. we
Right,
don't
no, I
wanna
know
have
we are,
Wrong
we can say-
words.
but I think the words are okay. I think people have different ways they would word things.
Well, this just
I-
improved it, so.
Well, I
addressing
would
the-
ask so that we request, that we add any more to be really
Yeah,
serious
limitation.
considerations.
I'm good with the way it's worded.
All right,
I'm good. I think that covers it.
Yep. Thank you for doing that.
there was one comment from Chris Potts that might be worth quickly discussing. We had put every 6 months. She had suggested quarterly updates to the select board, Board of Selectmen. I don't know if anyone feels like 6 months is not frequent enough, but it was an easy thing for us to just quickly address.
I think quarterly becomes cumbersome. I mean, look, these people are all volunteers. They're gonna be busy and we have all these different requirements on them. the selectmen can always call it more frequently if they need it. I
I
think
thought
it
that's
makes it
what-
way too burdensome.
I thought that's why we just added in our,
Right.
the last part, that a minimum of once every 6 months during the duration to the Board of Selectmen School Committee. Didn't we just say something about the select people can?
Yeah.
Well, I don't think we were gonna write that. I thought we factually thought that was true, but were we gonna actually write that the select board can call them? The select board can do whatever they want.
Right.
Okay,
This doesn't
Right.
govern the select board's activities.
right. So I guess it would be incumbent on voters to go to the select board and say, I'd like you to request a.
Well, plus
And
these
update.
meetings are, these meetings are open to the public, so everyone can go to the
Right.
meetings, which will definitely happen more frequently.
And we did say earlier that they had to report to the school committee and the select board, so that should be coming up in their regular meetings, what the updates are. There really shouldn't be any lack of understanding on the public if you want to pay attention and, focus on it. So I'm okay with the 6 months.
Do we have anything else of substance to go over again? Not that we're married to it, but it's 6:58. We had talked about trying to be done by 7. I mean,
For me, I just went through the comments and everything we've talked about. It's the same things, like I had taken out for the comments, so.
does anyone have anything else they feel is really important that we have yet to cover? If not, I have a motion. I don't know if anybody will second it, but I would propose a motion to approve the draft amendment to Article 4, Permanent Planning and Building Committee, Section 10-20, dated today, April 6, 2022, and to submit it for inclusion as Article 14 in the 2022 town warrants. Is there a second?
Second.
Second,
Okay, we'll do a roll call.
Before, sorry, just to interrupt, I would say, and I spoke with Mark on this again, subject to any like formatting by town council, like it's just going to be very, if anything,
idea.
needs to be formatted, then town council can do that.
Okay, so I modify the motion to include that subject to any formatting by town council.
Second on the modification.
Okay. So a vote on both, and I'll just go down from the top the way it's on my screen. So I am in favor. Carolyn,
I am in favor.
Cynthia,
I am in favor.
Tom,
I am in favor.
Sarah,
In favor.
and Russ.
In favor.
All right.
Now, do we want to approve the minutes from last
Yeah,
time?
I think I had two sort of mechanical questions. One is to approve the minutes, so we can close that out. And the second is, how do we get this to Brittany? Will Mark review it and send it to however it gets included in the warrant?
Yep, yeah, I can send this to Mark and then he'll do any kind of formatting to get it into the warrant or how it needs to be written.
Right, so I'm gonna
in
send
there.
you, Brittany, the red
Perfect.
line because we
Yep.
wanted to show the edits, but
Sure.
I don't know if you need to say in the first sentence of 10-20 add and then put the parenthetical thing,
Yeah, no, we'll work with what we have here, even with the red lines. We can fix everything up and make it look and fit it into the warrant.
Okay, so I'll send it to Brittany.
Perfect.
Now, something that got lost along the way was always in my mind. I remembered that the school committee had a policy on their books that said the moderator was to appoint all members of the school building committee, which wasn't followed, but it was on the books. And I don't know if we have any jurisdiction, but maybe we make reference or give somebody direction that that has to be
We-
corrected,
we
otherwise
should
it's
just-
gonna.
If this gets voted in, then that's their job to change their policy. They'll vote.
Or if they don't, it's inconsistent.
Yeah, but this is a town bylaw, so
Right.
that they will need to vote and change that to match the town bylaw if this gets approved.
Okay,
Well, and is that something that Mark could, make the direction to the school committee to do?
You
Yeah,
can
and-
just give them a heads up that, this is coming and you might want to bring your policy up and change it if it passes, right?
Right, which it may
Exactly.
not.
Right. if it
And
doesn't
going
pass-
back, one other piece of housekeeping for us. So I asked Brittany and Christine about this earlier today. So we have to have at least one member of this committee available at town meeting to answer any questions. Any volunteers?
I usually
I can
attend.
do it.
I have to attend for planning board.
But this would be actually to be the designated speaker for this committee to have questions directed to. I mean, Sarah, to me, you're the logical candidate because you were the chief drafts person.
That's fine. I'm also, like I said, I need to attend anyway, so I'm already gonna be there.
Right, we have
Although
to
I would
actually,
encourage everyone to come because we have planning articles too.
We'll
we
be there.
have to present it. It's not just questions, Bob, right? I mean, someone has to get up and.
Well,
present it.
like for the planning board, we do we do like a 2-sentence report. The warrant committee asks us to do a report and you say, you know, like, this is what we did. I could give a
Okay.
high level, it's not like a PowerPoint, it's a
Right,
paragraph statement.
yeah.
Okay, what else do we have for tonight? I think we had to approve the minutes from.
Minutes. Thank you, Carolyn, for doing those.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Pam.
and Brittany fixed them for the town people looking at the town information, but when I uploaded the draft, Sarah, from Google Docs and Microsoft, it went weird on the formatting. So she's gonna fix that on my minutes too, because I refer to that to look at the draft attached to the minutes to understand the outcome of our discussion, so.
Now, somebody's got to write up a minutes for tonight.
I'll do it. I'm happy to do it.
Okay.
I don't know when we approve those because we're done, but you know, we saw, we
Right,
voted,
right.
but we'll figure that out. Do we have a motion to approve the minutes?
Yeah, I'll
from
make a
last
motion
week?
to approve the meeting minutes of April 4th.
I second.
Second. All right, Carolyn, how do you vote on the motion
Yay,
to approve your own minutes? Okay.
I'm proving my.
I'm
own-
also in favor. Russ,
Yes.
Cynthia,
Yes,
Tom,
Yes,
and Sarah.
Yes.
I have just a practical question about us. Are we, after we do this tonight, are we like disbanded or are we still the group working on it till town meeting? How does that, does anybody know how that works?
I think our work is done, right? I mean, I think there's the presentation at town meeting, but between now and town meeting, I think our work is completed.
Okay, and so I guess you'll be talking to Scott about that, Bob? that week?
Yes, and I'll
Okay.
confirm out publicly. I just wanted to make one real quick comment and then we can close out, or if anybody else has anything. The people in town that submitted comments, thank you. We may not have discussed every single comment as a group, but that's just a matter of time. That would make every meeting, you know, a public hearing, which just would not work. But I want to assure everybody, I can speak for myself and I think everybody else, every single comment was read and considered, and the input is much appreciated. So,
Yes,
Well, thank you, guys. It was fun working with you all.
yes, it
yeah,
was.
you all too.
yeah. Good
And
group.
everyone should hop over to the state hospital listening session if you have some
Yes.
Oh,
time.
right, right now.
And so
yeah.
people can do that. I'm going to bring a motion to close the hearing.
I
Second.
second it.
Second.
All right, Carolyn, how do you vote to close?
Yay.
I'm a yay. Russ,
Yes.
Cynthia,
Yes.
Tom,
yes.
and Sarah.
Yes.
Thank you all very much.
Thanks,
Thank you.
everybody. Nice
Thanks,
to
Bob.
work with
Good night,
everybody.
Russ,
Thank
Work with
thank
you.
Thank you, Brittany.
Sarah, Brittany.
Thank you, Brittany.
Thanks,
Yeah,
Brittany.
have a good night.